Ash Reborn, a time-traveling master's journey. Like, share and subscribe. Episode 11. The ashamed warrior boy got the potion. Genetic breakthrough potion. The body size increases several times, and the speed is not affected. This is simply a perverted enhancement that violates the common sense of physics. It can only be said that the system's products must be excellent. Oh. Is it Pidgeotto? Hehe, my Pinsir is not afraid of bird Pokemon like those small insects such as Caterpie and Weedle. Looking at Pidgeotto in front of Ash, the warrior boy is still full of confidence. Pinsir is indeed not like insect Pokemon that regards bird Pokemon as its natural enemy, but Pidgeotto's flying type also restrains Pinsir's bug type. Ash seems to understand why the warrior boy lost to the 3 rookies from Pallet Town one after another. It's okay that he can't beat Charmander's rookie trainer, but losing to Bulbasaur is purely his own problem. Pinsir, go, Vice Grip Pidgeotto. The warrior boy gave the order, and Pinsir rushed straight to Pidgeotto. Fly up, Pidgeotto, use Hurricane. Not only are the Pokemon weak, but the trainer's level of commanding the battle is also not up to the passing line of a normal trainer. Ash shook his head, somewhat disappointed. Pinsir, with such a low level, basically has no means of long-range attack. Rival still has the advantage of flying, and attribute restrains its Pidgeotto. The most reasonable way for Pinsir to deal with it at this moment should be to defend and counterattack and wait for Pidgeotto's attack to reveal a flaw to find an opportunity. Of course, if the opponent's trainer does not give any chance and relies on the air advantage to kite throughout the whole process, this group of duels can basically be declared defeated. In the real Pokemon world, the battle situation changes rapidly. It is not a turn-based system where you hit me and I hit you. Since Pinsir was sent to fight Pidgeotto, the warrior boy should think about how to drag Pidgeotto into Pinsir's advantage area to win under the overall disadvantage. Only in this way can we strive for a slight chance of winning. And in this group of duels, Ash's Pidgeotto not only has attribute restraint but also has strength crushing. It quickly took off to avoid Pinsir's horn attack, and then flapped its wings to blow a strong wind. Whoosh! Pinsir was whirlwind out and hit a tree behind the warrior boy. Ash shook his head, it was too weak. A boring battle. Pidgeotto won the experience points that were not even more than the wild Pokemon. If it weren't for the task issued by the system, Ash would never accept such a meaningless challenge. It was just a waste of time. Damn, my Pinsir. The warrior boy took back Pinsir, who had lost his combat ability. Gritting his teeth, he took out another Pokeball from his waist. Get ready for battle, Metapod. A flash of light appeared, and the blue crescent-shaped Metapod appeared. What are you doing? Metapod is very afraid of bird Pokemon, and you sent it out to fight Pidgeotto? Seeing Metapod, Misty, who was watching the battle, couldn't bear to watch. He has been catching insects in the forest for many years, but he doesn't even have this common sense of fighting. What do you know? My Metapod is very brave. The warrior boy's eyes were filled with clear stupidity. Pidgeotto, fierce Hurricane. Ash was too lazy to waste words with him. Comparison. As the clear and loud bird call of Pidgeotto sounded, Metapod was so scared that he couldn't even use Harden. The fear of Pidgeotto overwhelmed the warrior boy's orders. A strong wind blew past. The Metapod that was thrown out by whirlwind fell heavily to the ground. The Metapod lost its ability to fight. How could it be, my Metapod? The warrior boy looked incredulous. Misty's forehead was also black. Isn't it normal for Metapod to lose to Pidgeotto? That's not all. After Metapod lost, the warrior boy sent out the 3rd Pokemon, Caterpie. At this time, Misty didn't know what to say when she saw Caterpie trembling with fear after the appearance. The warrior boy also looked a little unnatural, but there was nothing he could do. He only had insect Pokemon in his hand, but he didn't want to admit defeat. Pidgeotto sent Caterpie away with another fierce Hurricane. I sincerely apologize to you for my previous reckless behavior. I promise I won't do it again next time. The warrior boy took back Caterpie, apologized to Ash and Misty, and promised not to scare people again in the future. Seeing his sincere attitude of admitting his mistakes, Ash and Misty nodded slightly without saying much. Before leaving, Ash taught him the process of cultivating Metapod to evolve Butterfree. The warrior boy suddenly realized that Metapod must try to avoid fighting to evolve into Butterfree, and bowed to Ash to thank him. Ash was somewhat emotional about this. There are so many ordinary trainers like the warrior boy who embark on the journey without learning any Pokemon-related knowledge just because they love Pokemon. They often have to slowly gain valuable experience after being beaten up continuously, and gradually approached the level of ordinary Pokémon trainers. Ding! The mission of helping Pidgeotto to avenge his shame is completed. Get the mission reward. Mission reward, 15,000 points, Pidgeot Gene Breakthrough Potion. Using this potion can make Pidgeot's body size increase several times, and it does not affect the original body speed at all. Points, 27,000. The warrior boy left, and Ash got the reward. Genetic Breakthrough Potion is a special potion for Pidgeotto, and Pidgeotto cannot use it at this stage. As for these points, he plans to save them until the end of the month. Perfect Companion Ring has been pinned to the top of the system store by him, and it will be sold there before he buys it. Ash plans to buy the Ninja Bond Evolution Quick Method after saving 880,000 points for the remaining 4 items in the store. Although Bubblefrog is far away in the Kalos region, he can find a chance to capture it in advance. There is no way, the Bond-evolved Greninja is too handsome, and the degree of combat power increase is far beyond that of ordinary Mage-evolved Pokémon. The Water Storage. Charizard that lost to Arisher in the original world line was a complete plot kill. Moreover, the items in the points store are refreshed once a month, and Ash is not sure that he can still get Ninja Bond Evolution Quick Method when he captures Bubblefrog in the future. Episode 12. If you can't catch fish, then go in the water. Ash, keep going inside and you will reach the interior of the Viridian forest. There will be powerful wild Pokémon. Misty hid behind Ash. Looking at the dark path ahead, she whispered. The interior of the Viridian forest is a natural maze formed by the dense trees of various kinds. The lush trees make it difficult for light to penetrate, and the entire forest seems a little dim. Most rookie trainers only dare to wander around the outer areas. I know, just walk a little inside, there is a river not far ahead, let's go there first to see if we can catch the water-type Pokémon that suits our taste. Next, we will challenge the rock-type Nibby Gym, hoping to capture a suitable water-type Pokémon, said Ash, holding the travel guide. Misty nodded. In addition to training Pokémon these 2 days, Ash has been looking for suitable Pokémon to capture in the forest. But he has never been able to pick a suitable Pokémon. There are many rare Pokémon in the Viridian forest, and he will definitely gain something. After entering the forest, Ash released Pidgeotto to take charge of air surveillance. With Misty and Pikachu, they moved forward slowly. They came to the bank of a river about 8 meters wide. There should be fewer Magikarps here. Wow, what a clear river. Misty stared at the lake happily. Different water-type Pokémon have different requirements for water quality. With such clear water, I think there is a chance to catch some rare water-type Pokémon. Yeah, if there is no suitable Pokémon yet, we will go directly to Nibby City, Ash said, taking out the high-level fishing rod he just bought in Viridian City from his backpack. Considering that he will challenge the Nibby Gym next, he naturally has to prepare a good rod for fishing. And he has Misty, a partner who is determined to become a water-type Pokémon Master, and carries various special baits with him. He only needs to bring a fishing rod. Really? That's great. Misty smiled happily, then took out the fishing rod from her backpack and skillfully installed the exclusive bait for fishing water-type Pokémon. She didn't want to go deep into the evergreen forest, as there were enough insect Pokémon on the periphery. In comparison, fishing is her professional and authoritative field. An hour later, Ash had a slightly depressed look on his face. Misty's bait was very powerful, and often a water-type Pokémon would bite the hook after casting the rod for a while. There were indeed fewer Magikarps, but unfortunately they were only very ordinary fish Pokémon such as Goldeen and Shelder. I don't ask for a top-notch Pokémon that can evolve into Flash Magikarp, at least a water-type Pokémon with good qualifications. Ash sighed and handed the lively Magikarp that he had just pulled up to the Magikarp in the air. Let Pidgeotto take it to a farther place and release it. Another 2 hours passed, and more Magikarp were caught by Ash. They were all very ordinary red Magikarp, and there was not even an ordinary Magikarp with purple qualifications. Looking at the lake, Ash felt a little depressed. Compared with the game, the difficulty of fishing Pokémon in the real Pokémon world is obviously much higher. Ash, don't be discouraged, as long as you persist, you will definitely catch the Pokémon you are satisfied with. Misty also didn't get much, and seeing that Ash was a little depressed, she immediately comforted him. The fishing process is boring, and you must be able to endure loneliness. In the end, you may be able to reap joy. Thank you for your comfort, Misty, I know. Throwing the fishing rod into the water, Ash was about to continue fishing. Ding! The familiar system prompt sounded. The host was detected to be in a low mood, triggering the compensation task. Stubborn Fisherman. Equipment system. Dive equipment into the water to select the water Pokémon you like. Mission reward. Points reset. Fishing hook probability minus 20%. Note, a top-quality water Pokémon and top-quality carrying props will be randomly generated in this river. Ask if you want to accept the mission. Yes. After listening, Ash answered without hesitation. He didn't want to continue to be tortured by the Magikarp in this area. Besides, he didn't have many points, so exchanging for the top-quality water-type Pokémon prepared by the system would be a big profit. As for reducing the probability of fishing hooks, Ash didn't care. After all, he was not like Misty, a water-specialized trainer. Deduction successful, Pokémon has been generated. Dive props, limited time, have been put into the system space. Ash stood up, took off his hat, and took off his coat. What's the point of fishing? My buddy went directly into the water to find the plugin arranged by the system. Compared to fishing, dive efficiency is higher no matter how you look at it. Ash, you can't hold on any longer? Why don't you take a break and I'll help you watch? In fact, the density and quality of water-type Pokémon here are already very good compared to the surrounding waters. Misty subconsciously thought that Ash was ready to give up, but Ash smiled and said, I'm not going to give up, but I've thought of a better way than fishing. Plop. As soon as the voice fell, Ash took Pikachu and jumped directly into the river. Pika, the unprepared Pikachu exclaimed. Misty was also stunned by Ash's behavior. If you can't catch it, just go into the water to catch it? It is indeed Ash's style, but how long can he stay in the water without professional props? Maybe he will have to surface in a few minutes. The actual efficiency is probably much lower than fishing. Thinking of this, Misty plans to persuade Ash and Pikachu when they can't hold their breath and float to the surface. It is a taboo to be impatient when fishing. However, underwater at this moment, a burst of blue light flashed. Pikachu, in Pikachu's surprised eyes. Ash and his body were covered with a layer of blue light film. Then, his vision, breathing and movement ability were restored to the same level as on land. In his sight, no less than 50 water-type Pokémon were swimming around him, and the brave Poliwag even swam over to check. Poliwag, blue qualification, level LV15. Pikachu, quick attack. After wearing the system's dive suit, Pikachu's speed did not change at all from when on land. It turned into a white stream of light and knocked the approaching Poliwag unconscious. Good job, Pikachu. Ash gave a thumbs up. He was a little surprised, it was worthy of the system's dive suit. This set of equipment can save him a lot of trouble. Episode 13. Different colored Feebas, conquer Gyarados. Ash, can you hear me? Don't scare me, Ash. On the shore, Misty was getting anxious. Ash's dive lasted more than 10 minutes, which was difficult for even top dive enthusiasts to achieve. She was a little worried that something had happened to Ash. Just then, there was a movement in the middle of the lake. Sizzle, a dazzling golden spark lit up the lake. A moment later, Gyarados, with white smoke and arcs all over his body, floated weakly on the water. This is Gyarados. Ash and Pikachu, is that you? As soon as Misty finished speaking, Ash and Pikachu, holding a purple fish Pokémon in their arms, surfaced. Misty, this Gyarados, as a water-type Pokémon to compensate for your bicycle, what do you think? Ash, soaked all over, swam to the shore holding the purple Feebas and Pikachu. Pokémon, Feebas, odd color, attribute, water, level, LV15, qualification, gold, ability, swimming, odd color Pokémon hidden ability, water wall, attribute restrains Pokémon's moves, reducing the power by 1/2, skills, splash, tackle, carrying props, top quality prism scale, carrying Pokémon's beauty directly maxes out, which can make Feebas evolve directly. It can only be said that it is worthy of being a top-quality Pokémon produced by the system, and it can be called a top-quality golden qualification. The ability to swim freely will turn into magical scales after evolving into Milotic. Combined with its hidden ability as an odd-color Pokémon, the damage reduction is directly maxed out. As a main Pokémon, it is not impossible to have the terrifying physical strength and recovery ability of a legendary beast in the future if it is carefully cultivated. Ash is very lucky. I met this Feebas not long after entering the water. Even if it is Flash Feebas, it is still just Feebas. Its only offensive skill tackle poses no threat to Pikachu and its combat power can be basically ignored. However, with the ability of swimming freely, this little guy is very fast, and it has consumed a lot of energy. When Feebas was caught, the noise was too loud, which alarmed the Gyarados living in the nearby waters. And it was a purple Gyarados, but fortunately it was only LV24, so it should have just evolved from Magikarp. Relying on Pikachu's electric skills to restrain it 4 times, Ash easily solved Gyarados and brought Feebas ashore. Gyarados, Feebas. Ash, your experience is too wonderful. After listening to Ash's description, Misty couldn't help but cast an envious look at Ash. All the different colored Pokémon are super rare species. It is one of the best in its own Pokémon group. In addition to its body color, individuality, and talent, it has a hidden second ability compared to its peers. It is the perfect Pokémon that many trainers dream of. She didn't expect that this inconspicuous river actually had a Pokémon of a different color, and it was the rare Feebas. Compared with it, Gyarados, which has always been known as the totem of water Pokémon, was somewhat eclipsed. Ash's experience for a while almost made Misty doubt her life. Is fishing really less efficient than diving? Of course, Misty's idea must be wrong. After all, the water is the home of water Pokémon, and Ash dared to do this only because of the dive set of the system. This dive device not only makes Ash and his Pokémon basically the same in underwater and on land, but also has insulation attributes. Pikachu's Thunderbolt that can electrocute Gyarados has no effect on him at all. It's just luck. This Gyarados is pretty good. You asked me to give you a water Pokémon as compensation for the bicycle. This is it. Ash said, pointing at the unconscious Gyarados still floating on the water. Gyarados with purple qualifications is already very good. If he hadn't caught the different colored Feebas, he might have trained it as the main water Pokémon. Now, he obviously doesn't need it. Gyarados? Okay, watch me. Misty was somewhat afraid of the ferocious Gyarados. When she remembered her dream of becoming the world's mightiest water trainer, she immediately mustered up her courage. If she wants to become an excellent water trainer, the powerful Gyarados will definitely be a great help to her. Although Gyarados looks ferocious, it is not the insect Pokémon she is most afraid of. Misty threw the Pokeball and collected Gyarados. At the same time, Ash also successfully captured Feebas. At the riverside, Ash and Misty released the Pokémon they had just captured from the Pokeball to heal their injuries. Except for the slightly lower level, Feebas' attributes in all aspects can be said to be fully maxed out. It can only be said that it is worthy of being a flash Pokémon, and its potential is much stronger than other Pokémon of the same family. The hidden attribute has reduced the attribute restraint effect to the lowest level. It can be cultivated as a main force of the water system. As for the level, it only takes a little effort to upgrade it to level 16. The rare candy originally reserved for Butterfree can be used directly for it. Considering that it is still quite difficult to upgrade Feebas before evolution, Butterfree can only be slightly wronged. After capturing Feebas, Ash spent a whole day fishing for a higher level Magikarp as its leveling experience pack. When he set the fishing target to Magikarp, his face was immediately filled with the joy of a good harvest. One day later, Feebas successfully upgraded to level 16. Then the group returned to the outskirts of Viridian Forest. After arriving at the outskirts, they headed straight to Nibi City. Although he always wanted to use rare candy to upgrade Feebas and then directly trigger Prism Scale to help Feebas evolve into Milotic. But Misty was right beside him. If she saw it, it would be difficult to explain. Since rare candy and Prism Scale were already in place, Feebas could evolve anytime and anywhere, so he didn't have to rush. As long as he could get to the gym in Nibi City to challenge it, it would be fine. Episode 14. Evolution, the beautiful Milotic. In the forest. It was night, when everything was quiet. After Misty fell asleep, Ash quietly opened his sleeping bag and came to the river far away from the campsite. Taking the Pokeball from his waist, Ash released Feebas. He looked at Feebas, who was in the water with a dull look in his eyes. Now Feebas is LV16, and there are 5 rare candies of LV20 and below in the system space that can be used to upgrade Pokémon. Rare candies that can be used to upgrade Feebas first, and then let it evolve. With a thought, Ash took out 5 rare candies wrapped in candy paper from the system space. He squatted down and fed the rare candies into Feebas' mouth. Wow! The rare candies melted in his mouth, and the wonderful taste quickly spread throughout Feebas' body. Feebas' dull expression rarely fluctuated. In addition, it can also feel that it is getting stronger. Staring at Ash curiously. Feebas level, from LV16 to LV21. Feebas, don't be surprised, you are indeed getting stronger. Ash stroked Feebas and praised him. For Feebas, who is naturally inferior and sensitive, more praise can not only help it build confidence, but also increase intimacy. After being praised by Ash, Feebas' expression was still dull, but his eyes looking at Ash became much more friendly. Okay, next, it's time to evolve. It's up to you, Feebas. With a thought, Ash activated the top-quality prism scale carried by Feebas. Promote its evolution rhythm. Under Ash's nervous gaze, the prism scale on Feebas shone with rainbow-colored light. Plop. Feebas in the water struggled painfully. Seeing this scene, Ash couldn't help but frown slightly. This was beyond his understanding of ordinary Pokémon evolution. Then, all the colorful rainbow lights sank into Feebas' body. Then the brilliant white evolution light rose up, completely covering its body. Finally, the official evolution process has begun. Pika. Ash finally breathed a sigh of relief when he saw this. Compared to Caterpie's evolution into Metapod, Feebas' evolution was very impressive and the process was also very difficult. With the increasingly shining evolution light, a beautiful figure that was no longer an ordinary Milotic appeared in front of Ash. Light purple hair like fins, cream-colored body, tail covered with yellow and pink scales, and gem-like purple eyes. It was the evolved heterochromatic Milotic. In addition to the different body color from ordinary Milotic, the heterochromatic Milotic was also a circle larger, with both strength and beauty. Milotic's standard length on the Pokémon Pokédex is 6.2 meters, but Ash's is 7.8 meters long, perhaps because he used the ultimate prism scale. Without sacrificing its appearance and speed, it has reached the peak of the Milotic species length. After successfully evolving, Milotic emits an ethereal and melodious light growl. It's like a band playing classical music, elegant and noble. Milotic leaned down and kept rubbing against Ash's cheek to express his joy of evolution. Milotic is indeed one of the most beautiful water-type Pokémon. It has powerful strength and a very gentle personality. It is said that after seeing Milotic's graceful figure, one can resolve resentment and forget the fighting emotions in his heart. Ash used to think that this was a bit exaggerated, but after seeing Milotic, he had to admit that he was amazed. Sure enough, the Pokémon in the game are not as good as the real world. Congratulations on your evolution, Milotic. Hey, Milotic responded softly, and the hair-like fins on both sides gently stroked Ash's cheeks to show intimacy. Pokémon, Milotic, different color, attribute, water, level, LV21, qualification, gold, ability, magical scale, different color Pokémon hidden ability, water wall, attribute restrains Pokémon's moves and reduces the power by 1/2, skills, splash, tackle, titan, water gun, disarming voice, twister, aqua ring, attract, life dew, dragon tail, carrying props, top grade prism scale, triggered, carrying can improve the beauty of Pokémon. After evolving into Milotic, it finally got rid of the embarrassing situation of only knowing tackle and splash skills. Because the level is relatively high, there are many skills that can be directly understood after evolution. Of course, proficiency must be improved through battles. Milotic has just evolved and is still adapting to its new body. Ash is not in a hurry to put it back into the Pokeball. The bright moonlight casts a soft color on Milotic. The glittering tail scales are so beautiful. Even Ash can't help but be slightly distracted and sigh. If Misty sees this, she will probably be too excited to sleep. After all, water-type Pokémon are her favorite. Half an hour later, Ash took Milotic back and tiptoed back to the campsite. Glancing at Misty, who was breathing evenly in her sleeping bag and frowning cutely from time to time, Ash smiled knowingly. Wait until we challenge the Nibby Gym. When Misty sees the appearance of the different colored Milotic, she will definitely be surprised. At this stage, even the authoritative Pokémon professor cannot give a standard answer on how to evolve Feebas into Milotic. This is why Milotic is so rare. I'm afraid I'll have to explain it to Misty during the gym battle. After a busy day of leveling up and evolving, Ash was tired. He stepped over Pikachu curled up in a small sleeping bag, got into the sleeping bag and quickly closed his eyes and fell asleep. Early morning of the next day. After a night's rest, Ash and his companions, who were full of energy and spirit, set out to continue their journey. All the wild Pokémon with corresponding attributes encountered on the road were left to Pidgeotto and Pikachu to deal with. Milotic is not suitable for appearance yet. After all, Feebas was just captured yesterday, and it is a bit unreasonable to evolve into Milotic the next day. It would be more reasonable to let Misty know about Milotic's evolution after a few days. As for Metapod, it is still in the Pokeball. There is no change in its body shape. It is worth mentioning that its level has been upgraded from LV7 to LV9. It should be the power accumulated during the Caterpie period that is taking effect in the body. I think it should be close to evolving into Butterfree. At present, Pidgeotto is still a long way from evolving into Pidgeot. When it evolves into Pidgeot, the Gene Breakthrough Potion, Pidgeot only, can be used. A Pidgeot several times larger than the original. Ash fantasizes about riding a Pidgeot similar to the size of bird-like mythical beasts such as Ho-Oh and Lugia and traveling across the Pokémon world. That would be so cool. Episode 15. Uncle Flint, Nibby City. While getting the physique of the stupid guy Mega True Rookie in the original world line, Ash also inherited his directionlessness attribute. Add to that Misty, who has a very poor sense of direction. The two people and one pet actually got lost in the evergreen forest with a map in hand. They wandered around in the forest for several days. Until they met two senior trainers who walked out of the evergreen forest and came to the outskirts of Nibby City under their guidance. Looking into the distance, a city with a heavy feeling of pewter tones appeared in their sight. Pikachu, level, LV28 to LV29. Pidgeotto, level, LV25 to LV28. Lost, but not a single wild Pokémon encountered on the road these days was spared. The levels of Pikachu and Pidgeotto have been slightly improved. The speed is slightly slower than when they just left Pallet Town. But as the level increases, the difficulty of upgrading naturally increases. The further you go, the slower the level increase. Ash adheres to the leveling idea in the game. The Pokémon that Pikachu and Pidgeotto were chosen were all Pokémon that have attribute restraint and group action. Pidgeotto is a flying type, and the Evergreen Forest is a paradise for bug-type Pokémon. It is upgraded by 3 levels, which is more efficient than Pikachu. As for Milotic, as a trump card for challenging Nibby City. Level 21 is definitely not a problem. We are finally in Nibby City. Ash, let's go to the Pokémon Center quickly, I want to take a nice bath. Misty was so excited that she almost jumped up when she saw the outline of Nibby City. During the days when he was lost, Ash had a great time leveling up Pokémon. Misty followed him and slept in the open air. There are differences between men and women, and the fatal weakness of being afraid of bugs. Ash can take a bath in the river, but Misty can only use the water that Ash fetches from the river to simply wash her body. There is no way, because she is too afraid of bug-type Pokémon. She dared not leave the campsite too far at night. This is undoubtedly a torture for Misty, who loves cleanliness. Well, let's wait until Nibby City to relax, and then go to challenge the gym. Normally, it takes at most 3 days to travel from Viridian City to Nibby City, but they have been walking for almost 10 days. This time getting lost also made Ash fully realize that real travel is indeed not as simple as it seems in anime. Outside, Ash and his partner chatted with a middle-aged man who was covered tightly and selling stones. Ash knew that the squinty-eyed uncle in front of him was Xiaojiang's irresponsible father, Flint. He left Xiaojiang and his mother and embarked on a journey alone, just to pursue the illusory title of world's mightiest trainer. As a result, Xiaojiang's mother ran away in anger and has been missing ever since. Xiaojiang himself had to take on the responsibility of taking care of 10 younger brothers and sisters. For Flint's irresponsible behavior, Ash was very disgusted. After all, his cheap father who has been missing so far also abandoned his mother Delia and lacked the responsibility of a mature man. Let Delia take care of herself alone. Then Ash paid Flint 50 Pokémon coins. He took the 2 of them to the Nibby City Pokémon Center. Although he had no feelings for Flint, he had to wait until he took over the responsibility of taking care of Xiaojiang's brothers and sisters. Xiaojiang could travel with them without worries. Nibby Pokémon Center, send Flint away. Ash and Misty went straight to the front desk. Nurse Joy, please arrange accommodation for us and restore the physical strength of the Pokémon smoothly. Thank you. No problem, please wait a moment. Nurse Joy took the Pokémon Pokédex handed by Ash, and caught a glimpse of Pikachu standing on Ash's shoulder from the corner of her eye. Hey. It's Pikachu, you are Ash, right? Do you know me? Nurse Joy. Yes, I heard about you from my sister in Viridian City. You are an outstanding trainer who helped Viridian City Pokémon Center to avoid being destroyed by the members of the evil organization Team Rocket. Perhaps it was because of the Joy family intimacy. Nurse Joy in Nibby City was also very friendly to Ash. Outstanding trainer. Ha ha ha, I don't deserve it. Ash scratched his head a little embarrassed. The procedures have been completed, you can check in. In addition, just leave Pikachu and other Pokémon to me. After you have rested, come down and pick them up. They will be rejuvenated later. Nurse Joy saw that Ash and Misty were exhausted and her hands moved faster. She quickly checked Ash and Misty in and placed several Pokeballs, including Pikachu. Thank you, Nurse Joy. After thanking Nurse Joy, the two immediately went to the room provided by the Pokémon Center, opened the bathroom door, and took a comfortable scald bath. Ash lay in the bathtub with a towel covering his key parts. After the comfort, a strong sense of sleepiness came over him. He took a nap in the bathtub. Pikachu. At the same time, Pikachu also made a comfortable growl under Nurse Joy's gentle cheek massage. Cute little guy. It seems that your master takes good care of you. Remember the first few trainers who came from Pallet Town. Except for Gary, their Pokémon were not only scarred but also exhausted. In fact, when rookie trainers first embarked on their journey, this phenomenon was very likely to occur. It can only be said that Ash's care for Pokémon is quite good compared to them. No wonder my sister admires Ash so much. It seems that he is indeed an excellent trainer. Nurse Joy smiled and whispered softly. A few hours later, after taking a bath and scald and having a good sleep, Ash took Pikachu and 2 other Pokeballs back from Nurse Joy. As for Milotic, it did not participate in the battle in the Viridian forest and naturally did not need to recover its strength. After Misty woke up, the two went to the cafeteria for dinner. Ash, when are you going to challenge the Nibe Gym? Tomorrow. It's a bit late today, and we are all tired after getting lost in the Viridian forest. It's time to relax. Pikachu nodded immediately in agreement. Ash picked up the sandwich on the plate and stuffed it into his mouth, mumbling, "Since we are challenging the gym, we have to adjust the contest condition." These days in the Viridian forest, he was exhausted. Misty can rest from time to time. Whenever he encounters a wild Pokémon, Ash has to command the battle. It can be said to be a double test of physical and mental strength. Episode 16. Nibe Gym, Milotic appears. Misty, why don't we stop here today? We've only just arrived, there's still a street to go shopping. At night, in the commercial street of Nibe City. Ash and Pikachu looked tired, their eyes were dull, and they were carrying so many things. Pika. Ash and Pikachu looked at each other and both wailed. If they had known earlier, they would have challenged the Nibe Gym directly. At night, Misty dragged him out to go shopping. At first, Ash didn't realize the seriousness of the matter. Since he was paying, Misty picked out some cheap travel casual clothes and toys such as dolls. All of these together are not worth much, and the main point is high-cost performance. But this made Ash and Pikachu very tired. It's okay to be physically tired, but it's mainly mentally tired. While shopping, Misty kept asking which clothes are beautiful and which toys are cute. Fortunately, Ash is patient enough now. If he were the stupid guy in the original world line, he would have clamored to go back to the Pokémon Center. This also made Misty's affection for Ash soar rapidly. Such a reliable and considerate boy is rare. Compared with the original plot where she would quarrel with Ash at every turn, Misty's temper has been restrained a lot now. At least when it comes to Ash. The next day, early in the morning, the two said goodbye to Nurse Joy and followed Flint's instructions to arrive in front of the Nibe Gym. This is a square stone building. Compared with the gyms in the regions behind the original world line, which have distinctive decoration styles and are extremely impressive, it is much worse. It is understandable that Gon has 10 younger brothers and sisters to take care of at home. After sending Ash and Misty to the gym, Flint stammered and found an excuse and left. Before leaving, he did not forget to flatter Gon severely, thinking that a rookie trainer like Ash would never be able to defeat him. Ash did not take it to heart. Is anyone there? Pushing open the heavy stone wall gym door, the two entered the gym. Is it you who wants to challenge the gym? Or is it the girl next to you? A familiar voice sounded. The lights in the gym turned on simultaneously, barely illuminating the originally dim venue. Sitting cross-legged on a boulder, the hedgehog-haired boy with squinting eyes swept his eyes over the two people. He was the gym leader of Nibe City, Xiao Zhang, one of the protagonists of the original series. Hello, gym leader, I am Ash from Pallet Town, who came to challenge Nibe Gym. Ash walked forward to the side of the battle site. Xiao Zhang shook his head and looked at the Pikachu on Ash's shoulder. This should be your first time to challenge a gym. The gym competition is very different from the small battle on the roadside. It is the official competition of the Pokémon Alliance. Bringing Pikachu to challenge him, it can be seen that he is a rookie who has not learned the attribute restraint. Of course I know. The gym battle is set up by the Pokémon Alliance, and the gym leader cannot refuse the trainer's challenge without reason. Ash nodded and chuckled. You know a lot. In that case, let's do it. Brock turned and walked to the other side of the battlefield. Misty, who was standing next to Ash, also noticed the barely detectable contempt on Brock's face when he turned around. Is this gym trainer looking down on Ash? He will suffer a big loss later. Misty secretly complained about Brock's underestimation of the enemy. Although she had not traveled with Ash for a long time, she was already impressed by his amazing performance in the Pokémon battle. Although Ash currently has no means to restrain the rock-type Pokémon, if Brock underestimates the enemy and regards him as a rookie, he will definitely pay the price for it. The battle is 2v2. When both Pokémon of either side lose their combat capability, the game ends. The challenger can change Pokémon in the middle of the game. On the battlefield, the oldest of Brock's brothers and sisters acted as the referee. The others cheered for their brother in the audience. Then, my first Pokémon to go into battle is this one. Get ready for battle, Geodude. Slightly different from the original world line, this time Brock did not send Onix directly, but let Geodude take the lead. Geodude with rock and ground type. Geodude, qualification, blue, level, LV 15. This Geodude is of a very low level and has normal qualification. I think it should be the gym battle Pokémon that Brock, as a gym trainer, specially prepared for the rookie trainer. Ash raised his eyebrows and smiled, and moved the brim of his hat slightly. In that case, I will not show mercy. After all, this was his first gym battle in the Pokémon world. Although rival was not strong, Ash was still ready. He reached out to touch the Pokeball hanging on his waist. From this point of view, it should be Pidgeotto. Misty, who was familiar with Ash, whispered. Among Ash's handheld Pokémon, Metapod and Feebas are not capable of fighting. Pikachu was standing on Ash's shoulder. He probably released Pidgeotto from the Pokeball. Ash reached out and pressed the center button of the Pokeball to enlarge it. The originally small red and white ball instantly became the size of a palm. Then he threw the Pokeball into the air. A red light jumped out, and a beautiful figure appeared in front of Ash. At this moment, Xiaojang and Misty were stunned. This is Milotic. Or a different color Milotic. This beautiful figure is an extremely rare Pokémon in Kanto. It also shocked Xiaojang, who has been in charge of the Nibe Gym for a long time and is knowledgeable. Even his squinting eyes opened, even though they still looked like a slit, but he really tried hard. Now something went wrong. He originally thought it was just a fledgling rookie trainer. Just now he was still thinking about how to defeat it without leaving a psychological shadow on the opponent. This Milotic, could it be Feebas? Although he could guess, Misty still found it unbelievable. This is Milotic, a rare Pokémon that many water-type trainers dream of. Compared to Magikarp, which is everywhere in rivers and floods, Feebas is rare, and the conditions for evolving into Milotic are also very harsh. There are many versions circulating in the Pokémon world. It's only been a few days, and Ash actually made it evolve successfully. Looking at the noble and elegant Milotic in the field, Misty made up her mind that after the gym battle is over, she must interrogate Ash. Find out the secret of Feebas' evolution. Episode 17. Got it, Boulder Badge. So beautiful. So pretty. Can my brother's Geodude beat it? After Milotic appeared, Xiaojang's brothers and sisters were also attracted by its beautiful figure. Their confidence in their brother's victory began to waver. They wanted their brother to win the battle. But they didn't want to see the noble and beautiful Milotic fall. If Xiaojang could hear their voices, he would probably be in tears and laugh. On the rock battlefield, Geodude looked very bad when facing the different-colored Milotic that was several times larger than himself and had attribute restraint. Seeing that Geodude looked a little demoralized, Xiaojang secretly said that it was not good and quickly issued an attack order. Don't be afraid, Geodude, use Rollout plus Rock Polish. Rollout plus Rock Polish is Geodude's combination move. Rock Polish can greatly increase its own speed by polishing the body and reducing air resistance. It can greatly increase the speed of rollout when it starts, preventing the rollout attack from being easily interrupted by the opponent. Of course, the faster the startup speed, the more the hit rate of this set of combined skills is tested. Unfortunately, this Geodude is not the Pokémon that Xiaojang mainly cultivates. His idea is very good, but Geodude's execution is not very good. Geodude did not burst out with amazing speed after Rock Polish. Milotic, commanded by Ash, smacks down in the air with a water gun. In the face of the absolute gap in strength, these fancy tricks don't play a big role. After defeating Geodude, Milotic slightly raised his head and emitted an ethereal and melodious light growl. Yo-ho, it's quite a character. Misty was also happy to see this scene. Ash's Milotic looks really interesting. So strong, it deserves to be a rare Pokémon of different colors. The experienced Xiaozhang thought to himself that it was not good. This Milotic was really difficult for him. Of course, the duty of the gym leader is to review the trainer, and he doesn't care much about winning or losing. It must be said that Ash is too strong to be a rookie trainer. He solemnly sent out the trump card Pokémon Onix. I'll leave it to you, Onix. Pokémon Onix, qualification, blue, level, LV28. Onix, which should be about 2 meters larger than Milotic, seems to have no advantage in front of Ash's Milotic. Onix stared at Milotic with great solemnity. Onix, use tackle. Disarming voice, Milotic. Xiaozhang and Ash's attack commands were basically in no particular order. Onix leaned over and rushed towards Milotic. Hey! At this time, Milotic launched disarming voice to interrupt Onix's forward momentum. It was already clumsy and slowed down halfway, shaking its head with a painful expression, and its mental contest condition looked a little bad. Before Onix could react, Milotic took advantage of the victory and hit the opponent with a water gun. Rock plus ground, the effect is directly outstanding. Onix immediately screamed and lost his ability to fight. It seemed that he only lasted a few seconds longer than Geodude. Milotic level, LV22. With golden qualifications and powerful fighting power after evolution, Milotic's upgrade path immediately became easy. In the audience, Misty was smiling, while Xiaozhang's brothers and sisters were all frustrated. Boy, I apologize for underestimating you before. Your ability and level of Pokémon training are very high. As proof of defeating me, please accept the Boulder Badge representing the Nibi Gym. After putting the incapable Onix back into the Pokeball, Xiaozhang walked to Ash and handed him the Boulder Badge. Thank you, if it weren't for the attribute restraint, I believe you wouldn't have such a hard time. Ash made a strategic flatter and put the Boulder Badge in the badge box. Great, Ash, this is your first badge. If you collect 8 badges, you can participate in the Indigo Plateau Conference. Misty, who came from the audience, smiled and congratulated. Ash won the first battle, and she was happy for him from the bottom of her heart. Ash nodded to express his gratitude. Ding! Challenge the Nibi Gym and get the badge. The advanced level challenge has been completed. Get reward, 50,000 points. After getting the Boulder Badge, the gym challenge mission is completed. The system store has finally added a huge amount of money. But there is still a long way to go before buying the Bond Evolution quick method of Greninja Frog. After all, there is a 1-month store refresh time limit. Now more than half a month has passed, and we have to work harder. After getting the Nibi Gym badge, Ash invited Xiaozhang to travel. Xiaozhang was very tempted when he heard it, but he decisively refused considering that his younger brother and sister had no one to take care of them. In response, Ash didn't say much. He knew that as long as he persuaded Flint to come, everything would be solved. The two walked out of the Nibi Gym. Ash took Misty and went straight to Flint's stone stall. Ash, we are going to help Xiaozhang make up his mind and embark on the journey with us. Ash smiled and replied to Misty. After getting lost in the Viridian forest, he knew Xiaozhang is indeed indispensable to the protagonists of the original series. In the original plot, only the positive side of the daily travel was shown, and the complicated and trivial things were basically glossed over. Only after experiencing the Pokémon travel, Ash understood the importance of Xiaozhang with max life skills. Boy, you came so quickly, you must have fallen at the Nibi Gym. It doesn't matter, I helped your Pikachu become stronger. Before he finished speaking, Flint suddenly found that the Pikachu on Ash's shoulder was full of energy and had no injuries at all. Did he not send Pikachu when challenging Xiaozhang? But can he, a rookie trainer who has just started traveling, distract himself to cultivate other Pokémon? Uncle, look what this is. Without saying anything, Ash opened the badge box and showed the Boulder Badge he had just received. Did you actually beat Xiaozhang? Flint looked at Ash in disbelief. Ash showed up in front of the stall so early, and he thought Xiaozhang had easily defeated him. After all, the strength of the gym trainer is much stronger than the ordinary trainer who fights on the roadside. But I didn't expect that the winner was Ash. He is still a rookie trainer. Episode 18. Cerulean 4 Sisters, Intimacy. It's just a tribute restraint, nothing to say. Ash didn't want to dwell too much on the gym battle. Knowing the other party's true identity, Ash got straight to the point. Uncle, you should be Xiaozhang's relative. How did you know? Don't worry about it, I just want to say that if you want to atone for your sins, you'd better talk to Xiaozhang with sincerity. Go and explain it to him, it's useless to escape. Xiaozhang's experience is actually much more miserable than his. At a young age, his parents all ran away, leaving a large group of younger brothers and sisters for him to take care of, and he had to support the huge Nibby gym. Flint owed him too much. These things must be explained to Xiaozhang by him personally. After listening to Ash's words, Flint fell silent. Misty next to him was full of surprise and curiosity. I didn't expect that the passerby uncle I met on the street would have such a shameful past. And it is also related to the Nibby gym leader that Ash just challenged. At this moment, the gossipy soul in her heart is burning. Flint was silent for a moment, but still chose to remove his disguise and reveal his true face. This look and temperament are exactly the middle-aged version of Xiaozhang, especially the squinting eyes. It's like they were carved from the same mold. I understand what you mean, young man, many things can only be faced by myself. Flint lowered his head and said in a deep voice. Misty snorted at this. As a gym leader in the Kanto region, she has some understanding of the situation of the Nibby gym. An irresponsible father like Flint. If it weren't for his sincere attitude of admitting his mistakes at this moment, Misty would definitely have scolded him. Fortunately, he now knows to repent and wants to make up to Xiaozhang. Then leave it to him to solve it. Return to the Nibby gym. Father and son reunited, Flint sincerely begged Xiaozhang for forgiveness. Brock's brothers and sisters were both covetous and repulsive to this father who suddenly appeared. After all, they have been with Brock for so many years. It was a bit difficult to adapt to having a biological father suddenly. Fortunately, Flint listened to Ash's advice. Before meeting Brock, he bought a lot of stuffed dolls. The children who received the present were all smiling. The gap with Flint was also fading rapidly. As for Brock, who Flint thought was the most guilty and difficult to face, he was very calm throughout the whole process. He couldn't say how happy he was about this father who suddenly appeared. But he was sincerely happy for his brothers and sisters. Flint's return must be more beneficial than harmful to them. After explaining all the things about all the brothers and sisters, Brock officially embarked on a journey with Ash. At this point, the protagonists of the original series have been assembled. Ash and the others warmly welcomed Brock's joining the team. Brock embarked on a journey with the goal of becoming an excellent Pokémon breeder. Anyone who has experienced traveling will understand how important it is to have a companion who is a great cook and can help you take care of Pokémon. Brock's cooking skills are not even 1/10,000th of his when Ash and Misty are tied together. Before, when he was in the Viridian forest, Ash had experienced Misty's cooking skills, and it was about the same as his own, who could only make fried rice in his past and present lives. Since then, the two of them have basically relied on portable fast food for meals in the wild. Breakfast is basically a standard sandwich with milk. In this case, it is great to have a companion who has taken care of 10 younger brothers and sisters since childhood and has all the life skills such as cooking and taking care of Pokémon. They both agreed with both hands and feet. And the things Misty bought yesterday, the big and small bags, were also sent directly to Cerulean City by the freight company. Then the three people and the pet left Nibby City and embarked on a new journey, heading to the next target city, Misty's hometown, Cerulean City. Next, prepare to challenge the Cerulean Gym. He thought so. The system also triggered the Cerulean Gym's mission synchronously. Ding! Gym mission trigger, challenge the Cerulean Gym, get a badge. Basic challenge, defeat the gym leader, win, and get 10,000 points. Advanced challenge, defeat all Pokémon of the Cerulean Gym leader and all 3 Pokémon retain their combat capabilities, and get 20,000 points. Perfect challenge, defeat the Cerulean Gym leader with reverse attributes throughout the whole process, and get 30,000 points. Rare candy, 1 to 30, level X1, Cerulean 4 Sisters intimacy increased by 80%. If the Pokémon in hand is not restrained by attribute, you can use Pokémon with the same attribute. It can only be said that the rewards of the Cerulean Gym are worthy of its challenge difficulty, from the comparison of system task rewards. Not only the challenge points rewards of each stage have been reduced. Even the rare candy reward unique to the perfect challenge has been reduced from 5 to 1. What is this? Even the system looks down on the Cerulean Gym. However, this time, Ash felt a little happy and decisively accepted the perfect challenge. The last reward of the perfect challenge. The intimacy of the 4 Cerulean sisters is directly increased by 80%, according to the system. When the intimacy of the opposite S*X reaches 80%, it is considered a lover level. Ahem. Ash is not coveting the 4 Cerulean sisters. It is mainly to complete the heroine mission triggered when he first met Misty. Well, he just wants to form a partner with Misty. As for her sisters, to go from Nibi City to Cerulean City, you need to cross Imp Moon. But this road can save a lot of time. Just based on this point, crossing mountains and ridges is nothing. Especially Misty. In her opinion, camping in the wild cannot be too long. The duration must be controlled. She doesn't want to arrive in a new city every time with a dusty and exhausted contest condition. After entering Imp Moon, the number and level of Pokémon encountered on the way are far less than when in Viridian Forest. For Pikachu, whose level is not too low, Pidgeotto wants to continue to level up through wild Pokémon to improve his strength much less efficiently than when in Viridian Forest. Pikachu, who has fought the most times, barely reached level 30. Milotic relied on the experience gained from the Nibi Gym battle. In addition to fighting all the way in Imp Moon, he rose from LV22 to LV24. This is the biggest improvement among the Pokémon Ash has in his hand. Episode 19. Imp Moon, a dance of evolution. Misty, Imp Moon, this name sounds very classical. Gone, classic is classical, but legend has it that a meteorite once fell on this mountain, and that meteorite is also called Moonstone. Misty, wow, that sounds good. After Gon joined the team, the job of leading the way was given to him. Compared to Ash, Misty can handle anything as long as the map is not marked incorrectly or the terrain is too complicated. The others chatted on the way to Imp Moon. Under Imp Moon. Suddenly, Pikachu, who was resting in Ash's backpack, seemed to have noticed something and suddenly poked his head out. The screams of Zubat and people's cries for help came from the front. Pikachu, Thunderbolt. The others ran over quickly and found a man in a white coat being attacked by dozens of Zubats. Ash quickly commanded Pikachu to use Thunderbolt to drive away the Zubat of the beat-up man. Brock quickly threw a Pokeball to capture a Zubat that was Thunderbolt smacked down. The Zubats flew back to the cave in disgrace. These Zubats were of low level, not even qualified to be experience packs for Pikachu, so Ash just let Pikachu drive them away in a threatening way. Of course, if the level of this group of Zubats was a little higher, the man in the white coat in front of him might not be able to hold out until they came. Getting up from the ground, the embarrassed man in the white coat rushed towards Ash excitedly, imagining that he was happy to survive. Great, thank you so much. Ash dodged with a look of disgust, making him miss. If it was a beautiful girl, it would be fine. You are a grown man, but you are also doing this. You should know that Ash would rather give up the reward of the perfect challenge of the Nibi Gym than to improve his intimacy with Brock. After a brief conversation, Ash and his group learned that the man in the white coat and glasses was named Seymour, a researcher at the Nibi Science Museum. Because of the recent rumor that precious moonstones could be dug up at Imp Moon, the ecological environment here was destroyed by unknown people. Seymour came here to find out the truth. As a result, as soon as he arrived, he was attacked by the Zubat living here as an intruder. Ash rolled his eyes and was a little speechless. Part of the Pokémon world, Professor, researchers don't seem to have any common sense except for the Pokémon Authority. You said you came all the way from Nibi City to find out the truth, but you didn't even bring a Pokémon. You are really lucky to be able to walk to the Imp Moon Cave. And apart from your own safety issues, since you want to find out the culprit of the destruction of the Imp Moon Pokémon ecological environment, then you must bring a few powerful Pokémon. Otherwise, even if you are allowed to find out the situation and find out the culprit behind the scenes, how are you going to deal with them? It can only be said that Seymour was lucky to meet Ash and his group. Seymour smiled awkwardly at Ash's contempt. Indeed, when he heard that the Imp Moon Pokémon ecosystem was disturbed, he was in a hurry to come and find out the situation. The Pokémons happened to be in the museum to assist the professor in conducting research on other topics, so he had to come here first. Next time, I will definitely not be so reckless. Ash, please help us find out the truth about the destruction of the Imp Moon Pokémon ecosystem. Seymour put his hands together and asked sincerely. He had just been attacked by Zubat. If Ash and his group had not arrived in time, he would probably have died here. At this moment, he still wanted to go deeper into the Imp Moon Cave, so he could only ask Ash and others to go with him. Ding! The Imp Moon plot mission was triggered. Mission content: assist Seymour to drive away the enemies who destroyed the ecological environment of Imp Moon Pokémon. Reward, Rare Candy X10, Level 1 to 20. Ash decisively agreed to Seymour's request. Even if there was no mission reward, he would agree to the other party's request. Destroying the ecological environment of Pokémon is something that all Pokémon trainers hate. In Kanto, the evil organization Team Rocket is usually the one who can do such evil deeds. And Ash, who is familiar with the plot, also knows that although the regular army of Team Rocket destroyed the ecological environment of Moon this time, it was their old friend. Team Rocket Trio. In the original world line, they came here to dig Moonstone to earn activity funds after learning about Moon. When he heard the news that the ecological environment of Moon was destroyed from Seymour, he was sure that these three guys must have escaped from the Pokémon prison. As for whether to escape or bail, Ash prefers bail. Anyway, keep going, and you will probably run into them soon. Anyway, the way to Cerulean City is through Moon. This mission reward is like a welfare. Bang and Misty, who also love Pokémon, naturally cannot tolerate someone deliberately destroying the habitat of wild Pokémon. So, the trio decided to help Seymour. Seymour led the way, and the four of them entered the cave that spanned the entire Moon. After walking a few steps, they met Clefairy holding the Moonstone. Then the plot was triggered, and they ran into Meowth chasing Clefairy. The Rocket Trio also appeared again. After an awkward opening speech, the battle began. Bang sent out the newly captured Zubat with a supersonic, causing their Pokémon to fall into chaos and start fighting each other. Then Pikachu sent them away with a thunderbolt. After defeating Team Rocket, they were recognized by Clefairy. Under its leadership, they entered the place where the Clefairy tribe lived. Under the moonlight, everyone witnessed the Clefairy group dancing around a huge moonstone and holding a ceremony. In the process, Clefairy assist Moonstone continued to evolve successfully. Wonderful, Mew's picture made people say that the trip was worthwhile. Ash also raised the Pokémon Pokédex to record this evolution dance. Clefairy has been found very rarely in various parts of the world. It is almost impossible to see Pokémon. It is believed to live in quiet mountains. This scene can only be seen in Moon, where a large number of Clefairy live. Such a precious picture, Professor Oak must like it too. After receiving the system reward, Ash and others are ready to say goodbye to Clefairy and Clefables. In order to thank Ash and his team for their help, the Clefable leader gave each of Ash and his team a Moonstone. Seymour also plans to stay in Moon for a while. Considering that they have established good relations with the Clefairy and Clefable tribes here, Ash and others did not persuade him to leave. Being attacked by the Pokémon tribes living here should not happen again. Saying goodbye to Seymour, Ash and his pet continued their journey. Passing him to Moon, they finally arrived at Cerulean City. Episode 20. Butterfree. Hey. Ash, have you seen Misty? She was following us just now, but she disappeared as soon as we arrived in Cerulean City. Maybe she went shopping. It's okay. Don't worry about her. As soon as Ash and his group arrived in Cerulean City, Misty quietly left the team. Ash also noticed that she looked worried when she approached Cerulean City. She must be worried about the promise she made to her three sisters at home before leaving Cerulean City. I will never go home unless I become a great trainer. Misty had just left home not long ago, and it was a bit embarrassing to go back and see her sisters. Ash and Xiaozhang were walking on the streets of Cerulean City. A burst of urgent sirens suddenly sounded in front of them. What's wrong? Did something happen? Go and see. After that, Ash and Xiaozhang ran straight to the building in front of them that was surrounded by people. After squeezing through the crowd, a cordon had been set up at the scene, and the police officers seriously reminded the crowd not to get too close. Ash learned from the crowd that he was robbed. However, as people who had just arrived here, the two were questioned by Officer Jenny, who was investigating the case, as suspicious persons. Officer Jenny was carefree and had a very erratic mindset. Facing the doubts, Ash decisively took out the Pokémon Pokédex to prove his identity, and Brock took out a few boulder badges from his pocket to show that he had been a gym trainer in Nibi City. The Pokémon Pokédex registered by the Alliance cannot be faked, and the information of gym trainers is also in the archives of the Pokémon Alliance. These things are completely true. Jenny quickly apologized to Ash and Brock. Then Brock started to chat up Officer Jenny, which was popular. Thank you, but you picked the wrong time. I'm a policewoman, and my mission now is to catch the thief. Gon, who was ruthlessly rejected by Officer Jenny, was dejected. Ash laughed at Gon's frustration, then turned around and asked, Officer Jenny, what was stolen? Hearing this, Jenny told the two about the situation. One of them was a registered trainer of Alliance, and the other was a former gym trainer. Maybe they could help her solve the case. According to Jenny's description, the thief was very strange. He didn't steal expensive equipment, but all he stole were huge pipes and large engines. Officer Jenny, I think I have some clues about this case. Really? Do you know who the real murderer is? Officer Jenny looked at Ash with a little excitement. Ash quickly comforted him and said that he could solve the case, but it would take some time. He still remembered this case. The Rocket Trio had the idea of using the water-type Pokémon of the Cerulean Gym. They built a pumping robot. I guess they stole the pipes and engines of this company. All the onlookers were quickly dispersed, and then Officer Jenny promised Ash that if he could catch the thief, he would be awarded the title of Cerulean City Honorary Trainer and a cash reward. Ding! System task released. Capture the thief who stole the theft and hand him over to Cerulean City Officer Jenny. Task reward, Qualification Improvement Potion. The potential of Pokémon with gold or lower qualifications will be increased by 1 level after use. Jenny family intimacy increased by 10%. Ash decisively agreed to Officer Jenny's request. With such a generous reward, he could only reluctantly send the Rocket Trio to the Pokémon prison for transformation again. Leave the scene of the crime. Xiaozhang said he was going to replenish the daily necessities and food for the trip. Only Ash was left alone, and Ash, who was used to having a partner around him, was a little uncomfortable for a while. One person and one pet came to the department store in Cerulean City. Found a stall owner who specializes in recycling Pokémon evolution stones. Sold the moon stone obtained from a moon to the other party. The pixie leader gave him a top-quality moon stone, which can make Pokémon evolve and upgrade to a certain level. The price is about 500,000. Because it is in short supply, and it is a must-have evolution item for popular Pokémon such as Nidoking and Nidoqueen. It can be said to be very rare. In the end, Ash, the stall owner, successfully bought it back at a high price of 550,000. It added a lot to Ash's coffers. The bounty from selling Ho-Oh photos and capturing the Rocket Trio was basically invested in Pokémon. Ash feeds Pokémon with top-level energy cubes and the most expensive nutritional potions. Especially the potion that heals Pokémon's hidden injuries is extremely expensive. But in this regard, Ash is not stingy at all. For his own Pokémon, of course, he has to use the best of everything. Including Xiaozhang, who purchases Pokémon food, Ash will also give him a lot of money, and the selection of materials must be the best. Other Pokémon were fine. With Milotic's size, his daily food intake was basically several times that of Pikachu. Since it joined the team, the balance in Ash's account began to drop at a visible speed. Fortunately, Clefable was generous this time, and the money from selling the top-quality moonstone was enough for him to spend for a while. With the large sum of money he had just received, Ash went to the Pokémon Equipment Center to buy various Pokémon training equipment, including weight-bearing props. This was related to his subsequent customized training plan for Pokémon. Ash would naturally buy props that could make Pokémon stronger without blinking an eye. All the purchased Pokémon training equipment was put into the system space by Ash without the store owner noticing. Leaving the equipment center, Ash was about to go to the Cerulean Gym. Ding! Pokémon, Caterpie upgraded from level LV9 to level LV11. At the same time, the system prompt sounded. Ash noticed that the Pokeball hanging on his waist belonging to Metapod was shaking slightly. Huh? It's going to evolve. Ash reacted and went straight to the Pokémon Center. He registered for accommodation with Nurse Joy. As soon as he returned to the room, Ash couldn't wait to take off the Pokeball that was still shaking on his waist and let the Metapod out. The Metapod that came out of the Pokeball glowed with a faint white light, and it was ready to start evolving. Ash, who didn't want to miss the process of breaking the cocoon and becoming a butterfly, chose to watch from a distance that would not interfere with Caterpie. The faint white light flickered, and a hole gradually appeared on the surface of the hard shell of Metapod. The dazzling white light shone with the beautiful pair of wings that Butterfree revealed. Then the shell was completely broken, and the white light slowly dissipated. Butterfree flapped its wings and flew up to soaring in the sky. Its wings vibrated, and wisps of white scales fell down, adding a bit of haziness to it. Caterpie finally succeeded in breaking out of the cocoon and becoming a butterfly.